What's going on, guys? Back here again with another video, another episode of Ask Baris, okay? And today's episode 15, all right? And today's episode is going to be about, what does that say? How to live your life the way you want to live it, okay? Not the way that person wants you to live it. Not the way this person wants you to live it. Not the way all those people out there in your life want you to live your life. No, how to live the life, how to live the way you want to live, all right? Before we even get into that, what does that mean? What do you mean, Baris? I am living my life the way I want to live it. If you are, if you really feel like you are, then awesome. But a lot of us, we say we're living our life the way we want, right? We believe we are, but really, we're not. How many of us are working a job we don't like? How many of us are going to school and we don't even want to go to school? We don't even feel like we need to go to school, right? But why are we still going to school? Because you're doing it for your parents. Why are you still going to that job? Because somebody told you that job's a good paying job and it's going to set you up for life. And it might. But you don't like it, right? But you're still doing it. So why? This is what I mean when I say how to live the way you want. Because a lot of us are not living the way we want. A lot of us, if we really had the decision to make it on our own without the thoughts or feelings of anybody else, without caring about anybody else, we most likely wouldn't be working the jobs we're working. We most likely wouldn't be living our lives the way we're living it, right? So how or why you are living for someone else or through someone else or because of someone else, it doesn't even matter. All that matters right now is now you've made a decision to start living the life you want to live, right? So how can you start doing that today, right here, right now? How? I'll tell you how. The first thing you can do to start living the life, start living the way you want to live, figure out what makes you happy, okay? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you want to become, okay? What does that mean? Pretty plain and simple. What makes you happy? If you didn't have to worry about bills, if you didn't have to worry about anybody else's feelings, if you didn't have to worry about anybody else's thoughts or opinions or anything like that, if you can just live your life 100% completely for yourself, what would you do? What would make you happy? What job would you desire? What's something you can do and you don't even have to care about money? Start working towards that. That's what I want you to do today. You want to start living the life you want to live, you're going to have to start doing things you want to do, right? Because when you start doing things you want to do, you end up living the way you want to live, right? So, starting today, the first step you can do, figure out what you want to do. Where do you want to go? What do you want to become? Start following that, all right? And the first way you're going to start following that before you do any action, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get your mind right. You want your mind to be there before the rest of you can be there. Because your mind can be there before the rest of you is able to be there, okay? And that brings us to our second point, all right? After you figure out what you want to do, what you want to become, where you want to go, all right? I want you guys to start, a lot of people are not going to say this, but I'm going to say this because based on my own experience and the way that I see how life works for people around me and myself, I'm going to tell you, pray for what you want. You told me what you want. You figured out what you want. That was the first step. The second step, I want you to pray on that. Pray on the thought of what you want. Pray on where you want to go. Pray about where you want to go. Pray about what you want to do. Okay? Why pray, Baris? Prayer is a form of manifestation. Okay? If you really mean what you say with all your emotions, it'll have to happen. It'll have to come true. Okay? And what do you mean? You got the thought in your head. I want to become a scientist. All right? For example, let's say you want to become a scientist. Why do you want to become a scientist? Man, I like creating new ways and new ideas of helping better people's lives or whatever, all right? So you want to become a scientist. Now, that's the first step. And then I told you the second step is to pray about it. Why? You want to pray. You want to sit and you want to focus all your attention. You want to focus all your emotion on that thought. Why? Because if everything about you is on that same path, it's going to be very hard for you not to reach that goal. You know what I'm saying? Because if you just think about it, oh, I want to be a scientist. And that's it. How many thoughts do you have a day? How many thoughts come and go? who's to say that that thought won't come and go? Okay, but when you pray on it and you make all your attention on that specific goal, on that specific achievement, and you make all your emotions match it, and it's all on the same frequency, and then you do this repeatedly throughout the day, multiple times a day, you continue praying for what you want, it's gonna happen. You're gonna make your mind stick to that path in a way. You know what I'm saying? Because you think about it so much, it's hard for you not to think about it. And when you're constantly thinking about something, you're gonna constantly be moving towards that something, whether you want to or not. So that's why I say pray for it. And prayer is a form of manifestation. It really is. You're making it happen. It's not there. You're not a scientist yet, but you're making it happen. You're making yourself become a scientist. It started with a thought, and then you made your feelings match the thought. And then now when you're out and about, because you've been praying about it and you've been thinking about it and you've been feeling about it and feeling for it for so long, now that when you're having conversations with people, it's coming out. Oh, where do you want to see it? I want to be a scientist. What can you see yourself doing 5 years from now? I'm going to be a scientist. I'm going to create things. I'm going to make things. I'm going to make the place better. I've been thinking about this for so long. I've been manifesting it. I'm going to make the place better. And then you see, after you've been thinking about it for so long, and it's been in your head for so long, it starts coming out into your actions, right? Now that you're speaking to people, you're speaking about what you're going to do. It's no longer just a thought. Now you're speaking about it. You're committing to it. You see what I'm saying and where I'm going with this? So that's what I mean, all right? Just know, prayer, for those of you who are going to be like, I'm not really into religion, I'm not a religious person, I'm not into praying. I don't want to get into too much detail because it's going to become, there's a whole lot, but I do want to say this. Prayer is bigger than religion, okay? It's bigger than religion. It's not just about religion. I'm not a religious person. I'm very spiritual, but I'm not a religious person. For those of you who don't understand, I'll give you a quick line that I got from Ralph Smart. Ralph Smart is the Infinite Waters. I follow him. He has a lot of good, positive, uplifting, motivating content. And he said this one time, or a couple of times. Religion is for people who are scared to go to hell. Spirituality is for people who have already been there. So with that being said, prayer is bigger than religion, all right? And maybe I'll make a video on that. But pray about it, all right? That's step 2. Step 3, all right? To live the way you want to live. Set goals, long-term and short-term, okay? Set goals. Put it on paper. Put it on paper. It's easier to plan it out when you can see it, all right? Figure out how to get there from your current position. Look, a lot of us, we say we want to do this. We say we want to go here. Oh, I want this, I want that. But that's pretty much where it stops, all right? And like I said before, a thought, and I got this from Kevin Gates, another person who I follow a lot. A thought without action is just a dream, okay? How many thoughts do you have that come in your head, that go out of your head every day, all day? You have a lot of thoughts, right? But a thought without action is just a dream, okay? How does a thought become reality? When you put action behind that thought. Just like I told you about the prayer, right? Praying was a form of manifestation. You got that thought a little closer to reality, right? It brought that thought a little closer to reality, all right? And then the next step, how do we take it a step further and bring it more into reality? Setting goals, okay? You're making tangible, you're making things real, okay? You took that thought, you put it on paper, and then when you see it on paper, it makes things easier. How does it make things easier? Because now you can actually plan things out. Okay? Have goals. You need goals, long-term and short. The long-term goal is what's going to keep you going throughout life. The short-term goal is what's going to keep you going in the little periods of time until you make that long-term goal a reality, okay? Because the long-term goal is long-term. It's going to take a while for that to come into effect. But the short-term goals are the small wins that you need to keep you going until you get to that big win, which is your long-term goal, okay? So have the goals. You need it. You can't just be freestyling stuff. You can't just be guessing. You can't just be assuming, okay? When you actually set goals, you're making it real, okay? And then when you put it on paper, you're seeing it, right? I could just be freestyling all these thoughts, right? But then I'll be confused, and then I'll be forgetting certain stuff, and then I'll be, I don't know. But when I put it on paper, or in this case, when I put it on the board, I can see it. There's no forgetting. There's no forgetting. I can list all the steps. That's how I can make sure that I do what I need to do. If it's not crossed out, I haven't done it yet. So I don't move on until I do it, and I cross it out and I move on to the next, okay? And then when it comes to actually making the steps and planning, planning out how to reach your goals. This is something I think a lot of people forget to mention, but you need to plan it from your current position in life, okay? Let's say, for example, the rules to become a scientist is you go to school for 10 years and then you go start being a scientist at a lab, okay? But that's the general steps to becoming it. But everybody is having a different life, right? We're all living different lives already. Some of us may be in one position while some of us are in a worse position, all right? So for that person, those general rules of just go to school, then join a lab, it might work for that person who has nothing going on in their life. They can easily say, okay, I'm just gonna start going to school and I'll become a scientist. But for you, let's say you've been committed to a job that you're already working, and then you have a family, you have kids to take care of and all that. So for you, that general rule of go to school, then go to a lab, it may not be that simple for you, okay? So that's why I say when you're planning out your goals, make sure you're planning from your current position in life, okay? Because to become a scientist, for that person that has nothing going on, it might take 10 steps. But for you, you have a lot more going on. Whether that's good or bad, it doesn't matter. You have a lot more going on in life. So for you, the steps to become a scientist might be 20. It might take 50 steps. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when you plan from your current position. That way, you're not thrown off by any things that weren't planned out. You know what I'm saying? And the final step, I would say, to living life the way you want to live it, all right? After you figured out what you want to do, after you really put all your emotions and all your focus after praying and meditating on this and manifesting it, that was the second step. The third step, you actually set the goals. So now you have the steps and the plans and you have the whole routine of how you're going to make it to where you want to make it, right? The last thing you need to remember, the last thing you need to understand, say no to everything that doesn't lead to where you're trying to go, okay? Be respectful when you're doing this though. You want to set healthy boundaries. You don't want to make any enemies, okay? When you've prioritized yourself in life, when you put it in your mind that you're going to make something happen, you're going to see that it's a lot harder. It is. It's easier said than done, all right? It's going to be hard. I don't want to say it's impossible. It's not impossible. It's definitely not impossible. 100% it's not impossible. But it will be hard. Why? Because when you set your mind on this one goal, I want to be a scientist. I want to be a scientist. This is what makes me happy. This is what I want to do for my life. I want to be a scientist, right? You're going to have everybody else around you that doesn't want to be a scientist, right? Because not everybody wants to be a scientist. So you're going to have family members. You're going to have friends. They're going to be like, hey, come do this. Hey, come do that. Hey, let's go here. Let's do this. Hey, you want to go hang out? Hey, you want to do this? Hey, come. All this stuff is going to happen, right? There's going to be times where you're going to have to say no to things that you really want to say yes to. Maybe to things that you would say yes to. You're going to have to learn to say no. And it's going to suck because people are going to get their feelings hurt. You know, people are going to want you to come out to an event, but you can't go to this event because you're studying for your scientist test or whatever. So you're going to have to get comfortable saying no to people. Okay, you're going to have to start getting comfortable saying no to things that you would normally say yes to. All right? But it's not a bad thing, and it's only temporary. You have to understand that when you commit to something, you have to be able to say no to everything else that can take you away from that thing, right? From that commitment. If you want to take the shortest route, right? The shortest, the easiest route possible to reach your goal, the best way for that to happen is to say no to anything that sidetracks you. To say no to anything that may lead you astray from the path that you need to be on. I can't go out to the club. I can't go out to dinner tonight. No, I'm sorry, I can't take you there. I can't really go on vacation during that time. I can't do it. I got to do this. If I say yes to all that stuff that you're telling me to say yes to, it's going to put this on hold. But this is what I really want to do. You know what I'm saying? I really want to do this. If I say no to this, I'm saying no to myself. I'm saying no to my future. So I love you, but I can't do that right now because I'm focused on this. All right? You're going to have to get comfortable doing things like that. And people's feelings are going to get hurt. People are going to feel some type of way. But I'm going to tell you this. If they really love you, if they really care for you, they'll understand, or they'll at least try to understand and work with you. Okay, all right, I get it, bro. I get it. You know, you're focused on that. It makes sense. It makes sense. So how about tomorrow? You free tomorrow? You know, something like that. Or are you free next week? Or when do you think will be a better time for us to make this happen? Right? If somebody really cares about you, that's what they'll do. They won't hate you. They won't be mad. They won't just, you know, disrespect you or whatever. No, they'll understand. They won't like it, but they'll understand and they'll respect it, right? So that's what you're gonna have to start doing, all right? Quick recap. Figure out what makes you happy. Where do you want to go? What do you want to become? All right? Do that. Pray for what you want. Prayer is a form of manifestation. If you really mean what you say with all your emotions, it'll happen. Meditating and daydreaming too. Those also help, all right? Okay? It helps you to keep your why in the front of your mind. Keep your wants, your ambitions, your whatever motivates you, whatever you're trying to achieve, it helps you keep it in the front of your mind. That way you can never forget it and you can always work towards it, all right? Set goals, long-term and short-term. Put it on paper. It's easier to plan it out when you can see it. And don't forget, figure out when you're making the steps and the routine to get there, plan the steps from your current position, all right? Because it may be 10 steps to become a scientist for someone who has nothing going on in life. But for you, if you have a lot going on, you have children, you have kids, you got a wife, you got a husband, you got school, you got work, you work 2-3 jobs, I don't know. So the steps to become a scientist might take a little more than that other person, all right? So figure out the steps from your current position when you're figuring out the steps and you're setting your goals and all that, right? From your current position. Remember that. Say no to everything that doesn't lead to where you're trying to go. Be respectful though, all right? You're just trying to set healthy boundaries. You're not trying to make enemies, all right? So those are the steps that I would say for anybody, all right? That's going to help you start living the way you want to live, okay? Now, those are the 4 steps, but I also have 4 other tips for you guys that I believe can help you, okay? I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I'm just going to list them out. Whenever you receive, remember to also give, okay? The energy you put out will come back, all right? I don't want to get too much into it, but it makes you feel good, man. It makes you feel good when you can give, right? When you get a lot, you have a lot, it feels good to have all of that. But I'm telling you, what feels better than having everything is to be able to give everything without hurting for it, without hurting about it. All right? You put a smile on the next person's face. You show that person how they too can become something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it motivates that person, and it causes a ripple effect, and then that person does it to the next person, and that's how the world slowly gets better. You know what I'm saying? Be grateful for what you have now while pursuing what you want later. All right? If you can't be happy with what you have now, you're not going to be happy with what you have later. All right? Be happy. Be okay. I'm not saying accept where you're at, accept what you have, and don't try to get better. Don't try to get further in life. No, I'm not saying that at all. You should always be trying to get better. If you want better, get better. All right? But what I'm saying is be happy. Don't look to the better things as a savior. You know what I'm saying? Don't let those better things be the reason why you're happy. No, you are already happy because of who you are, of what you're doing, of what you became. You're an awesome person because of yourself. Not because of the things you have, not because of the things you've done. No, not because of the people around you. No, you are an awesome person. You are a happy person because you know you are and you love yourself. And everything else is just a plus. All right? Patience is needed for everything in life. Understand that some things are going to take time. Learn how to be active while you wait, okay? If you're waiting for something to come into play, that's fine. Some things you're going to have to wait for, all right? You can't just make everything happen ASAP because you're not the only person involved in it, right? There's a lot. The world is filled with a bunch of people doing a bunch of things, all right? Just because you did your part doesn't mean the other people involved have done their part. So patience, you're going to need patience, all right? But just because you're patiently waiting for something to come into play doesn't mean you have to completely be sitting still and doing nothing. No, while you're waiting for that one thing to happen, continue working on something else. There are always other areas in our lives that can be better. Try working on those areas while you wait for that other area, okay? As long as you don't quit, you can never lose. You understand me? As long as you don't quit, you'll never lose. Because if you don't quit, you're still going to get there. Yeah, you might slow down. Yeah, it might take you longer, but you're still going to get there. right? If you quit, you stop, then you're never gonna get there. That's a for sure. But if you don't quit, you'll never lose. Eventually, you're gonna get there. The faster, the more you go, the more you do, the faster you go, the faster you get there. But you can go slow, and you will still reach your goal, your destination. All right, just don't quit. Follow your heart, but make sure your mind isn't too far behind. You see that? Follow your heart, but make sure your mind isn't too far behind. All right, that's how you live life the way you want to live it. That's how you live life as positive as can be. That's how you live life with the least amount of regrets or no regrets at all, honestly. When you're doing what you want, how you want, when you want, it's hard not to be happy. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that can make you unhappy at that point is, you know, the people that you want to enjoy your time with, they can't really do what you're doing yet. All right? But that goes back to now you have all the time, you have all the resources to help them now get on your level. You know what I'm saying? But that's how you live the way you want, guys. It's like I said, it's simple, but it's not easy. All right? I'll be straight up honest. It's not going to be easy. And honestly, it's probably going to be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. But it's not impossible, and it's definitely worth it. Okay? It's definitely worth it. All right? Real quick, I do want to share. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this video was not my best video. Honestly, I'm feeling kind of... today's one of those days where I feel down and in the gutter, I would say, in the mud right now. I'm just feeling it emotionally. Some personal issues going on. Not too big. I think it would be big for... It's a big thing, but I'm handling it pretty well. I'll say that, all right? But like I said, I say this just to say that nobody's perfect, okay? Nobody's perfect. It doesn't matter. The guy at the top who seems like he has everything going on in life is also still dealing with things, all right? Some of you guys look up to me as like, I'm a savior, I'm a helper, like, this guy's awesome, he's never stressing, he's going through... I do stress a lot. And today I'm kind of stressing a little bit internally, but and it makes it hard to make my videos, but I still do it. You know what I'm saying? I still do it. It might not be 100%, but I'm giving something. You know what I'm saying? And when you're trying to succeed, anything is better than nothing. And for those of you out there, if you have made it this far to the video, if you've made it this far into the video, and you care about anything I'm saying, all I ask is that you pray for me. Pray for the ones around me, to come up out of the negatives, to not let the negatives, overwhelm us and to keep us down, especially me. And just pray for me to keep, to have the strength, the courage, and the tools to defeat and overcome any negative obstacles, any negative weapons, entities, or whatever that come against me, okay? That's all I want, just a little prayer. You can do it one time, a couple times, however many times you're going to do it. But if you made it this far, thank you guys for everything. And once again, I'm going to say, positive thoughts at all times. Stop playing yourself, all right? Keep God first, your heart in the right place. You will always win. Okay, guys? Yes, you can. You got this, baby. All right? Live your life the way you want to live it.